everybody, it's Lo and welcome back to my channel, Lo Without Limits. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to best eat and train for the different phases of your cycle. So if you want to see that, then just keep watching. It honestly feels like it's been forever since I've sat on this couch and filmed a video, and I don't think it's been too long, but when I was sitting at my camera right now, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to do this. Anyway, this video is all about the best way to train and eat for every phase of your cycle. So ladies, this one's for you. Everybody's been talking about it lately when it's like, this is how to do luteal phase, and it's been like a huge like reel and Instagram and TikTok trend. And I've been seeing it a lot, and I'm like, let's just break it down into one place versus having to dig through everybody's reels. And yes, they look really pretty, but at the same time, like, let's just get something all in one, and that is this video. So yes, it's not a 60-second TikTok, but you'll have all of your information and you can always come back and watch it. Anyway, if you're watching this, you're probably someone who has a monthly cycle. And for women who are having monthly cycles, that means that our hormones are changing every single day. They're not the same as the day before, and that will go on for about a month. So the typical cycle, everybody says, is 28 days, but that does vary from person to person. Everybody's hormones are slightly different. Some people also have different hormonal issues, which can really impact the length of the cycle and even whether or not you actually ovulate during the ovulatory window. If you're on birth control, you may not be, or some people do just have some fertility issues where their body isn't actually ovulating during that window. So it does vary from person to person. On average, again, 28-day cycles, with 21 days being on the lower range all the way up to 35 days being on the higher range. The different fluctuations and all of that, while the dates are a little bit different from person to person, the hormones, the general trends all remain the same for everyone. But with this, I'm going to break down all 4 phases of the cycle, briefly explain what's going on hormonally with each phase, and also touch on how to eat to support your body and to make it an easier cycle, and how to exercise. But while I'm giving tips on all of the phases, again, just take this into consideration that it's all very individualized. Your hormones are different. How it affects you may be different than how it affects me. Listening to your body and not overworking it or not doing too much in terms of workouts to where now your stress hormones are high, your cortisol is high, and that can negatively impact your female sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone. Just also listening to your body is the most important overall, but I'm still gonna go into all those details for you. So a really quick overview on the hormones that affect women. So we have like low levels of testosterone pretty much throughout, but what will really change throughout your cycle and throughout each phase is your level of estrogen and progesterone. So phase 1 of your cycle is actually your menstrual cycle, the start of your period. So the day you start bleeding is day 1. So this will really range from person to person. Again, they could be longer and heavier if you're somebody who's experiencing PCOS or other hormonal issues, but on average this will last between 3 to 7 days. And again, that cycle starts day 1 is the first day you start bleeding, and this phase will go throughout the end of that bleeding. This is also technically part of the follicular phase. However, at this point, your estrogen and progesterone are so low, and this means that your energy levels are equally very, very low. So estrogen actually helps you with working out and giving you energy and having really good insulin resistance. But when both estrogen and progesterone are just at the bottom, then you're not gonna have a lot of energy to do much. So when it comes to working out, yes, you can go to the gym. I still like to go to the gym, but think of this as like your deload week. Every once in a while, you should take a little bit of a deload just to reset your muscles, get ready for that next cycle or phase that you're doing in terms of your workout, the other cycle and phasing that you should be doing. But think of this as a time to take it easy. You're not gonna be hitting the best workouts. You might have to take longer rest periods because you have like a little bit of a cramp in between your squats. So don't overly push yourself. You're also gonna feel a lot weaker. So personally for me, I can feel that my iron levels are completely depleted. you're bleeding, and in that blood is a lot of your iron, especially if you're someone with a history of low iron levels. But this was super noticeable for me when I first actually got my copper IUD and bled so much that I just felt so weak, so lightheaded. I couldn't even function. And then when they did the ultrasound, they said, well, it's because you don't have any more blood. That's why you're so exhausted. So although that's a super extreme case, it's pretty much the same thing every single month when you're bleeding. You're bleeding out all of this iron. So in terms of nutrition, really getting your iron back by eating just red meat, if you do like to eat red meat, dark leafy greens, and bonus with some iron, some really dark chocolate. Also, eating foods that are high in healthy fats will help reduce cramping, and also eating foods with vitamin C will really help with that iron absorption. So it's one thing to eat all of the iron, it's another thing to actually have it in your body and not just like pee it all out. So if you are also taking iron supplements, one thing that I was always told is to take my iron supplement with a vitamin C supplement, because that will actually make it get used in my body and stored in my body. Some other foods that you can really focus on this time are just anti-inflammatory foods. You might be feeling a bit lethargic, and also everything is a little puffy, you're cramping up. And foods that boost your circulation, like a lot of spices, some turmeric, some curry, some ginger, having all of that will just help boost your circulation, get that blood flowing, get it back flowing to your head, because you might have a little bit of brain fog. So focusing on that is just really good to help keeping you feeling good, keeping you feeling energized, and making your period a bit more tolerable. And then again, in terms of workouts, you can go to the gym, take it a little bit lighter, and the best thing to do is just really take it easy. Go on a chill hike, a nice walk, do some yoga. Doing all of this will still allow you to have movement, which I find to be super helpful in dealing with cramps and just that overall soreness, especially in like your lower back if that ever aches. So it'll really help you with managing your period and will still get you moving. Now moving into phase 2, this is such a great phase. It's the follicular phase, and at this point both your estrogen and progesterone are on the rise. You're also done bleeding and dealing with all of that, so you're just feeling on top of the world. With this increase in estrogen, and again while testosterone remains like pretty stable throughout, it will also rise a little bit in this phase, and that will just make you feel confident, you're feeling your best, your skin's probably looking the best, and you're just feeling so full of energy. And this is because your body is preparing to release an egg, and your also skin looks great, everything looks great, because in your body it's also saying like, this is the time to find a mate for this egg we're about to release. So even if that's not your goal, your body is putting you in this position to potentially have a baby. Estrogen is also a growth hormone, which a lot of people don't connect those two together, because if you said growth hormone, like sometimes your brain might go to testosterone because you think of muscles and how guys will grow. But estrogen is actually one of the main growth hormones, and that's something to consider if you've ever had higher estrogen and maybe you've felt fibroids or anything. That's because estrogen causes things to grow, and because of that it also causes your uterine lining to grow, which again, you need to have a healthy uterine lining before that egg comes in during ovulation. That way you can, in your body's ideal world, have a healthy pregnancy. And then because it is a growth hormone, that also means it's going to help your muscles grow. So again, you're thinking, what, muscles growing? Isn't that testosterone? Well, your testosterone is raising a little bit, but it all goes back to estrogen. So this is the time to hit the gym, hit the weights. If you love strength training, this is probably one of the best times for you. You're gonna be feeling good, you're full of energy. You can do shorter rest periods and feel great. You can do HIIT workouts if that's what you're into and do great. Do some circuit training. Like, this is the time when you can just really go at it and not feel super depleted. Of course, still being careful and not overtraining yourself, not stressing out your body too much, but just being able to have that energy and have that motivation to really hit all of your goals, both in and out of the gym. In this phase, for the average person, say your period ends at day 7, then this is 7 to 14 if your period were like a 28-day period. So it's usually the like week or so after your period, with the ovulatory phase being like right in the middle. But this is basically from the second your period ends all the way up to your ovulatory phase. And foods to eat are cruciferous vegetables. So cruciferous vegetables are really good at helping your body detox extra hormones, really good at helping your liver. I'm a huge fan and proponent of cruciferous vegetables as well as other fibrous foods, because cruciferous veggies and fiber go hand in hand. We love them both together. So what that's going to do, especially if you are somebody who has experienced higher estrogen levels in the past to where that's had other health consequences, by incorporating more cruciferous vegetables, especially in this time while estrogen continues to rise, will just help get any excess out, will keep you feeling balanced without your estrogen going too high and leading to other problems. It'll keep it at a nice, safe level and help it come out of your body by detoxing through your liver. They'll attach onto it and then out they go in your poo. And because estrogen is getting high, you can actually tolerate a few more carbs, healthy carbs of course, and calories. And this is also good because as you are working out, maybe you're strength training, you're hitting the weights, you're building muscle, you need calories to become those muscles, especially protein. So having that higher metabolism and getting able to eat more is really good, and it will also just fuel all of those extra workouts that you're doing. Also including just more healthy fats, vitamin E, just really making sure that your hormones are staying balanced again while on the rise. And now as these hormones have been rising, you're about in the center of your cycle, and this is your ovulatory phase. And it's a super quick phase because it's just that moment that your egg will come down, so you're feeling your best because again your body's thinking like, let's try to find a mate somewhere out in the world. Another really good time to hit the gym, maybe hit some PRs, do some HIIT training, like you're feeling your best. And this is where estrogen peaks. Again, glowing, feeling your best. And while estrogen will start to go down after this phase if the egg isn't fertilized, progesterone will continue to go up. This is again another really good opportunity to include cruciferous vegetables. That way you can get that excess estrogen out of your system, and that way you don't have an imbalance of progesterone to estrogen levels. And to support your uterus as well, especially if you are potentially looking to get pregnant in this time, then eating a lot of vitamin B rich foods, a lot of folate and folic acid is just really good for your body overall, your happiness levels overall. And then if you're trying to get pregnant, those are just really, really important nutrients to have for pregnancy too. And personally for me at this time, while you are feeling your best, I can also tell which side it's coming from. I'm like, ooh, left side this month, right side this month. And I feel like a little bit of a cramp and a little bit of bloating as well. So because of that, I really recommend just some dandelion tea, some parsley, some nettle leaf, just to help ease that little bit of cramping and that little bit of bloating that I experience, and just keeping it up with that fiber and those cruciferous veggies to help keep my estrogen levels stable. And last but not least, the luteal phase. And I remember that this one is last because follicular is first, luteal is last. But at this point, your estrogen will start to decrease, and while progesterone will start to go up, once your body realizes like, oh, this egg is not going to become a baby, must get rid of the egg and do all the period stuff soon, that is when it will start to peak. So after ovulation, you're feeling good, you'll have a few more days of feeling good, and then your body's gonna be like, we're done here, our work is done, time to just reset and try again. So this phase, again, on average is about 14 days, but can vary from person to person. And it's basically from after ovulatory period all the way up to right before you start your next menstrual cycle. And a lot of people associate the luteal phase with PMS, and for good reason, because as estrogen starts to dip down, so does our serotonin levels, our dopamine levels. We start to feel like a little more lethargic. All that energy is gone. I was just feeling so good and on top of the world, and my skin was clear, and now I'm just like so tired and I want chocolate and popcorn, and chocolate covered popcorn. Is that a good thing? I've never actually had it. So you just start to feel meh. At this time, especially in the beginning, you could still be feeling good enough to do your heavier strength training, but as you start to get closer to your period and you are starting to feel a little bit more lethargic, starting to just slow it down a little bit. You can still do your strength training, but don't expect to be hitting your PRs again. Don't expect to be having the best workout ever again. So it's not that you shouldn't do it, you just really need to adjust your mindset in this situation, because you can still do it. Just don't think that you're going to be feeling as good in the gym as you were last week, and that's okay. It's just part of your cycle. Don't over push yourself. Don't try to do too much. Still have a really good workout, and just being mindful and aware of how you and your body are feeling, since we're not guys and it's not the same thing every single day, and we can do the same thing every single day. And also being aware that you are going to be craving a little bit more because your body is about to do so much work. Like, your body while you're not moving a lot during your period usually, it's kind of burning a lot of calories because it's cramping and dealing with so much. So feel free to eat a little bit more. Your metabolism is ramping up a little bit, so you can burn some more calories. So you can give in to the cravings. Just also be mindful of those cravings as you are hitting this cycle and being like, okay, do I actually want the chocolate covered popcorn? Or is that just my uterus saying, let's have chocolate covered popcorn? Because that sounds like a crazy idea. Just being a bit more mindful, still treating yourself, but not letting it take over, because in this phase, a lot of people might start to experience skin problems as well, some water retention. And not only is that due to hormones and maybe hormones being imbalanced, but it could also be because you're eating chocolate covered popcorn and your skin is like, what are we doing here? While your brain and your uterus is like, let's go for all of the carbs and chocolate that I can imagine, your body should have a bit more of the healthy fats, really aiming for healthy nuts and seeds, because those, with the fiber included, help get rid of all of those excess estrogen and progesterone hormones. That way you can have an easier cycle and you're not just building up all of these extra hormones. So focusing on healthy fats, getting in a lot of magnesium like from berries and leafy greens and chocolate is also really good to help alleviate any cramps and any PMS symptoms. And in this phase, I'm just gonna throw it out there because I'm absolutely obsessed, so I can't not do a period video and not bring up Helix Cycle Balance. This is a customized herbal formula that you take in these 7 days leading up to your period, and it has changed my life. Like, I can't not bring it up, even not in a period video. I'm like out here telling everybody all the time, I'm like, have you tried this yet? Because it is actually the best thing ever. You take a little quiz, it's custom to you, it's all herbs, so it's all natural and good for you. It's not like you're just gonna take a bunch of Tylenol. So it does take a few months for it to like settle in and for your body to adapt to all of these different herbs. I've been on it for like almost 2 years at this point, and it's literally been such a game changer. Like, it makes my period so good. Like, in a recent video of like the 5 tips of how to have the best periods ever, like I include that in there because it's changed me for the better. I used to have PMS, I used to have mood swings. You're gonna have mood swings as your estrogen and progesterone are dropping, but also have a lot of fibroids going on in my breast, and I would just like not feel my best because of that imbalance. So while estrogen is a good growth hormone and it's gonna give you energy and it's connected to your serotonin and dopamine, when it's out of balance, it doesn't have the best effects. If you do have higher estrogen than normal on a regular, consistent basis, it doesn't have the best effects. So yes, it's good for you. Yes, you need it for your cycle, but also keeping it in balance is really, really important. And having different herbs like in Helix Cycle Balance that are tailored to you is just, can't say enough good things. And of course, you can always use the code LOW15 if you've never ordered it before. Then that gets you 15% off of your first order. And it's also a really good deal, like if you're gonna use it and you need to try it for like 3 months to get those effects, doing like the 3-month subscription, because then you get 15% off of your first 3 bottles versus 15% off of 1 and then paying full price in the 2nd month. So just a little money hack there. Like, if you're gonna use the discount, get more at the discount. But also in terms of food, going back to that fiber and going back to those nuts and seeds, that's also really good to keep you full and satiated. I feel like I'm just like insatiable when I'm leading up to my period. I'm like, I want to eat everything. I need to have 20 meals a day, and they need to be huge meals. And then once I finish the meal, I'm going to be starving again. You're going to feel just so hungry. So I always say more fiber, more cruciferous veggies. Let's just put cruciferous veggies. That's like the whole thing, especially for the luteal and ovulatory phase. But like, I'm just gonna big umbrella, cruciferous vegetables, fiber. That way you can feel fuller longer and you don't feel that constant need to eat everything in your path 24/7. And again, in terms of workouts, you are going to be feeling good. You're coming off of that high of your follicular ovulatory phase. You're still feeling good. You can still hit the weights, and then as you slowly creep up on your period, slowing it down a little bit, potentially going lighter on the weight if you need to, taking longer rest periods, doing some lower weight with higher reps is also a really good alternative to keep your volume up without just overworking and overtaxing your body. Incorporate more yoga, more walking as you ease into your period. That way you're not exhausted from working out, and then you go into your period and it like exhausts you again, and then you're double exhausted. So those are the 4 phases of your cycle and how to best eat and train for them based on the different hormone fluctuations that are happening. But please take this as guidance. Don't take this as dogma. Never take anything as like you must do this from anyone, including myself. Except for fiber, you must have fiber, but slowly increase it. Slowly increase the fiber. But do what works best for you. I, again, see all of these things online and it's like, here's your luteal phase and I'm just gonna do yoga and like, it's gonna be great. And yes, I love doing yoga and I love slowing it down in that phase, but at the same time, I still like going to the gym. I'm still gonna go to the gym because I like keeping my consistent workout schedule. I just know I'm not gonna be as strong as last week. I might feel a little bit weaker. If I'm on my period, then I know I'm gonna feel like so weak. I can go to the gym, it's just not gonna be my best workout ever. Or I will just have one more yoga day instead of doing something a bit more higher intensity or higher volume. So really taking into consideration how you feel each day, taking it day by day, and so much more goes into it too versus just what phase of your cycle you're in, how you slept, how you ate, your overall stress levels. Is life crazy? Listening to your body and having this as a guidance, little guidepost off in the distance that you can utilize. Do take that into consideration, but there you have it. Those are my tips on how to best train and eat for the different phases of your cycle. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what your tips are and what else you want to see here on my channel. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. I upload a new video every Wednesday. So until the next one, thanks for watching.